Love Marlene 411, your channel for all things love. We talk about all kinds of relationships over here, namely, most of the time, the relationship we have with ourselves. We talk about relationship with on the spiritual side. We talk about the relationship with your children. We talk about romantic relationship, sibling relationship, friend relationship, work relationship. But ultimately, for us to love in a healthier way ourselves and others. So, if you're new to this channel, hit the like, subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications, all of those things. So I see we got my awesome mod in the house, Robert Gann. How are you doing, Robert? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Sip and Chats, where we sip and we chat about all different topics. And we do these sip and chats on Thursdays. This week's episode, we're going to get into it. Well, I'll wait for my awesome co host, Miss Nexty. Robert says he's blessed and yourself always blessed and highly favored. I speak it and I claim it. Um, I wanted to talk about, we've been really enjoying the sip and chats, and I have been. I've really been enjoying having the conversations with my co-host, Miss Nexie. Um, isn't she amazing? Miss Nexie, it sure is. I have an awesome friend that she is indeed to me. So, what are you guys sipping on today? What's your drink of choice? What you guys drinking? What are you guys drinking? Do you guys drink your water? I know one thing for sure, it is hot, hot, hot in Florida. Very, very hot in Florida. So, what are you guys sipping on? While we wait for my co host, I'm going to wait to see what you guys are sipping on in the chat. I would love to hear what you guys are sipping on. I personally uh, just came to the end of my drink because I don't know where it is where you guys are, but here in Florida, it's extremely hot. And I have to make sure that I hydrate. I work in the medical field, and I've been seeing a lot of people come in with dehydration. A lot of people are getting the IV drips because they are not hydrating themselves. And I have to say this: soda and juice is not adequate enough for hydration. I'm not wagging my finger at anybody, but, drink some water, please. Robert says strawberry dragon fruit refresher with lemonade. Oh, where do you get that from? Robert, did you make it? Are you a drinkologist? That's what we need on the sip and chat. When this sip and chat gets a lot bigger, I'm going to open it up and make it be like an open panel, and I'll put like some other guests to talk about certain things. But in the meanwhile, I did. What did you guys have for dinner? Where I am, it's 7:07 p.m. I I was lazy today. I had Wingstop because I did not feel like cooking anything. I took out all my food, and it just looked at me at the counter, and I was like, nope. Opened up my DoorDash, and I got myself some Wingstop. I had a, what is it called? Um, I had a mango habanero sandwich with fries. It's my cheat day. Hey Shay, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. What are you sipping on? I hope you're sipping on something delicious. Or I have mine in my container full of ice. Are you guys ice people, or you're not ice people? I'm waiting for my co-host still. But while we're waiting on my co-host, I'm going to say what the topic is. Today's topic is the children control the parents. Hmm. Let me put out a poll. Hold on 1 second. Uh, I don't know. It does not have that option here on this one. Hmm, that's interesting. Shay says, I'm actually sipping on some sweet tea for now. Oh, that sounds good. Do you like tea? I mean, you like tea? Do you like lemon in your tea? Oh, it's always Miss Nexie, Shay. It's always Miss Nexie. She's my reoccurring co-host all the time. Unless she's not able to, then I may do a fill in. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about some expansion of the sip and chat when Miss Nexie is not available. I may be doing some fill ins with certain people. So, oh no, lemon. Oh my goodness, Shay. Lemon is what makes sweet tea delicious. I cannot drink sweet tea if it doesn't have lemons in it. I guess I'm weird. Hi. I don't know how to say your name properly, but hi. Welcome. Please hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, that would be amazing, Shay. I think we're going to do that once in a while, like every few months. Like maybe if Miss Nexie can't do it, or if I can't do it, I would have Miss Nexie run it, and then she's going to have somebody else to do it. So, oh, you love lemons, just not in your tea. Okay. So, let's see. Oh yeah, the title for today's sip and chat is "The Children Control the Parents." What do you guys think about that? I honestly think in this world that things are different. You know, things are not the same as they used to be many, many years ago. Life has changed, people have changed, society has changed. But for me, I feel like standards honestly have not the way children are. I think a lot of things has been toxic when it comes to children, but we're going to get into that when my co-host gets up here. Shay says, I love pickles, but not on sandwiches. I'm weird. Okay, okay. Everybody likes something different. It's like for me, I like banana, but I don't like to eat it. Yeah, I don't like to eat bananas, but I like to drink them. Like if it's a smoothie, I'll put a banana into something, but I'm not a person that likes to chew bananas. My friends and my family think that I'm weird with that, but I do not like to certain foods I don't like to eat it, but I'll drink it. Shay says, I agree. I see that often, kids running the show. And, my question is to you all, why do you think that that's the case? Why do you think that kids are running the show? Do you think it's because of society? Or is it people? Or is it the parents? What is it? Um, I actually love plantains. I love it. I don't know why, but I'm weird about that. I can eat plantains all day, but banana, uh-uh. I think it's the consistency of bananas. Here's my co-host. Let's add her to the sip and chat. Let's welcome Miss Nexa. Miss Nexa.
Hello, Miss Marlene.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Sorry I'm late. Hey,
Oh,
Shay.
Oh, it's no problem, Miss Nexie. I understand. No problem. Miss Nexie, what are you sipping on?
Plain old water.
Oh,
A kidnapped
come on.
victim only drinks water, and sometimes they're given bread, depending on where you've been kidnapped.
I was expecting because, of your kidnapping, I was expecting you would have at least got like some. Probably an extra grande coffee bigger than your whole body. That's
Or
what I was
a
expecting from
pina
you.
colada or something, like
Yeah, I was
something
thinking, yeah.
tropical. Yeah, no. I had a actually I did have a mango drink earlier, but it wasn't, spiked or anything. It was just
No, it
plain
doesn't have
old
to be
mango
spiked.
juice.
No, you know that I'm a mango girl. Come on, we're Caribbean girls over here. We love
We all are mango girls.
we're mango girls. I feel like this is a club. If you don't like mangoes, you can't. I don't think we could have a close connection. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like no mango. It's like, I thought I liked you, but yeah, gotta let you go.
You got to go. Yeah. It's so hot that I think that it's always a good idea to have something fresh that you can just have it ready so that you can just go and grab yourself a glass of something. So hot.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, Miss Nexty, we started a little bit, but let's go back. Today's topic, we said the title was "The Children
Yes.
Control the Parents." Okay, and we were talking about this a little bit, and what Shay said. Shay said she sees the kids often running the show these days, and Shay says that I think in most cases, society blended with parents wanting to be cool, parent or a friend.
Yes, I agree 100%. You see, I'm old school. I
Hmm.
raise my kids. We can have, any talk, any conversation. They can come to me for whatever, but there is an amount of respect that I demand from them.
Yes.
And it's the same goes to them. There's an amount of respect that I give them. I brought them up that way, and they're good kids. They're adults now, but they're good adults. They're
Yeah.
productive, they're respectful, they are able to, work in their fields, keep jobs, they're not rowdy, they're not crazy kids.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like they're good kids. So for me, seeing the amount of, and it's what I consider, I'm not saying that that's what it is. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to disregard anybody else's parenting skills, to each
Hmm.
their own.
Right.
But there's an amount of disrespect that goes on sometimes, where I feel that the parent is becoming, like the best friend or a friend, and they're unequals.
Yeah.
A child in their growing years doesn't need you to be their equal. They need your guidance, they need your input. They need to be able to form their own right character,
Hmm.
but they need your help because they're children. So right now I see that a lot of times kids are the ones telling the parents what to do.
Mm. Okay.
I've seen it's a matter of fact, I went to a restaurant probably a little bit over a month ago, and they were having a conversation. I don't know. I think they were the mom and dad and the kids. And one of the kids says, "Shut up, mom." Oh my God, you're so
Oh,
annoying.
wait a minute. Hold on.
And the lady,
Hold, hold on. The kid said to their mother, "Shut up, mom."
that girl was probably like 12, 13 years old. She says, "Shut up, mom, you're so annoying." And the
Um,
dad laughed.
Miss Nexie, and they
My
were
kids,
alive
no
still.
teeth.
They were alive.
If they were my children, I'll be sending you the place where you'll be sending flowers to
That
get better soon card.
no. If that
No,
happened
yes,
when I
yes.
was growing up, Miss Nexie, I mean, it would. I'm sorry to say it, but it would have been planning your funeral. My parents did not play those type of games. I was like, said we loved her, but we
There
miss
is no
her.
need. And again, the lady just like rolled her eyes, and the dad laughed,
The
and the
dad
other
laughed.
siblings just, yeah,
Mm.
the dad laughed. The
Oh,
man
so
that
it's
was there, I don't
funny.
know if that was her father, but she just laughed and the mom just rolled her eyes. And I'm not saying you got to beat him up, but you could pull her aside and say, "You don't talk to me like that."
Mhm.
Although I feel that it's probably something that has been going on for years because that's not something that is learned overnight. It's
It's
something probably that has been,
crazy.
learned over many, many years of this child probably not getting
This
um, told
well,
what
basic,
she's not supposed to be
basically
saying.
the child controlling everything, and I personally think the biggest problem is that the parents or parent or whoever the guardian has not enforced discipline and rules.
Yeah, I mean, shut up, mom. You're so annoying. How do you say that to your mom? I
Whoa,
don't
whoa,
exactly.
whoa,
My
whoa.
kids, when we're poking fun at each other, even on joking around, they're like, "Oh my god, be quiet, mom. That's not even true." My children will never say, "Shut up, mom. You're so annoying," and go back to their phone.
Mm.
I don't think they will have a phone at that point.
The phone will be broken.
No, no, no. It won't be. Surgery will be needed. That's all I gotta say for to be able to get it out of that person.
Mhm.
Again, it's not that I'm trying to say, "Oh my God, how I will beat him up." No, you don't have to. You see, my kids, I didn't have to beat him up. I didn't have to hit him.
Yeah,
All I had to do was just a look,
yeah, but
and
but
they
but you
knew
but you
that I was annoyed.
enforce but
Yes, I did.
you enforce rules, Miss Nexie, though.
Yes, ma'am.
The,
And, and you know,
and I think that's the problem is
there you go,
um
Marlene. That's
they didn't
exactly where I was
enforce
going.
rules. Yeah.
Go on, go on. That's
They,
exactly what I was about to say. Yes, Miss Marlene.
yeah.
They didn't enforce them.
You know, let me say this. I know may not sound like the nicest way, but I grew up literally, Miss Nexie, literally, I was fearful of my parents. I mean, scared to even say something. And I'm what you say? Like now, while I don't agree with that, Miss Nexty, I don't agree with that because I'm a different type of person, and my parents came from that generation of kids are seen and not heard. And
Mm.
there's certain things that I agree with from my parents, and there's certain things that I don't. And that's one thing that I have never liked is to that children are invisible. I don't like that part.
Yeah, that's not that. You see, my dad didn't hit us per se. Sometimes I will be a little bit of a smart mouth, and I
Mm,
remember the disappointing look in my father's face. That was worse than you slapping me, Marlene.
mm.
Than him slapping me, because when he would look at me and look at me like, "I can't believe you just said that," it will hurt so much that I hurt my father. I was like, "Oh, I
Oh,
disappointed
Nexie, you
him.
were
I
one of
hurted him."
those.
So my dad never did that. "Oh, I'm gonna beat the living." No, never did that. But he would just look at you like, "Okay, you said that. I get it." And he will walk away sometimes. Or he would just stand there waiting for you to say, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that." And I will apologize to him because of the look, like I disappointed my father. I
Miss
should have never said
Nexie, Miss
that.
Nexie, you were too good. You were an angel of a child. My dad would look at me, and that did nothing to me. I would like that. Oh,
Marlene, I was
I
not.
was.
Look,
I'll just
my
say I was in
dad, one,
terror. I was in terror. You know, my poor mom and dad.
no,
God rest their soul. I'm sorry, mom and
again,
dad. I
again,
really am. I was in terror.
that's the difference between you and me. I didn't get caught. I was smart. I mean, I was an angel, Marlene. You were right. My
Yeah.
wings are coming next week. I ordered them
See.
from Etsy. They're not coming from the sky, if that's what you're thinking. No, no, not even close. I had to order my own.
See, Miss Nexie, my thing is, I was the child that a parent just, like just saying, "Do as I say." That
Yeah,
it
that would
that
have not worked
no,
with
that
me.
wasn't gonna work on Marlene. I was like, why? And who's gonna be there? And what time? And why do we have to go? How much is that gonna cost? I had
Well, you were inquisitive, and
I
I
was
think that
very
that's actually a
inquisitive.
good, and
And my
that's a good thing.
no, but my mother thought that that was
It's
rude. Mom's
annoying.
like, don't ask grown people's. Everything was that's grown people business. Why do
No,
you need
don't
to know what
ask.
it
Just
costs?
do as you're told. Don't ask,
Yeah, and I don't
right?
think that's good either, Miss Nexie.
No, I had an auntie like that. She will tell me, "Do as you're told. Don't ask." And I'll be like, "Why? Why can't I ask?" Because I'm telling you not to. Yeah, I get it, but why can't I ask?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do something illegal? I didn't even know what
Yeah, like
illegal
what's the
meant.
problem? Why can't I know? I used to be like, yeah. Yes, Robert, I am definitely the youngest child. Like I always tell my whole family, they save the best for last.
Your family will disagree, but let's go with your version of things.
They save the best for last. Number 10,
Yeah.
perfection came with the 10th child. What can I say?
E- I'll
What can
talk to
I
sister
say? What can
later.
I
You know
say? What
what?
can I say, guys?
I'll talk to sister later on. I know I'll have a different version than what you're saying. I'll talk to sister. I'll call her. I'll call her and find
Okay.
out.
Maybe I'll recant my statement.
And I'm not saying you have to, because it's a different era. I get that. It's different.
Hmm.
We cannot parent the same way you and I were parent, or the same way I parented my kids. You know what I mean? It's a different era. It's a different dynamic.
It
It's a
is different.
different everything. And I always tell people, I don't think I'll be able to be a young mom right now. It will be so scary. And
Yeah.
people tell me, no, especially
Yeah.
my aunties, they're like, no, when you became a mom, I used to say, I will not be able to do what Nex is doing right now. Oh no, that's too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was a parent in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I was like, I don't know. And my aunties were saying, no, no, we were worried when you were parenting. We were like, oh my God, if it was me, I wouldn't be able to do it. It's so crazy nowadays.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God. So it is normal. It is normal to think that way, Miss Marlene. And it is normal to say, I can't do it, because right now we have so much more than when you and I grew up.
Yes. Like I don't know, but I look at my nieces and nephews and cousins and other people who have very small children right now, and I'm like, you guys get away with. I'm not going to say the word, but you know what I mean. You get away with get away with everything.
Yes,
That
ma'am. Just say
that
that
we
with everything.
yeah, they get away with everything. Like I remember even simple things like you couldn't slam the door, you couldn't, like I don't know. I feel like kids get more. When I was younger, I wasn't just given things. I had to wait. I learned the value of money. I had to save my money. I didn't just get stuff like kids these days are like, I need a $700 computer. Boy, go have a seat.
No, if my kids would have said that to me, well, no, I don't want this. I need a $700 computer. I'm like, when are you getting adopted again? Because if you're getting adopted by a very wealthy family, ask them to adopt me with you. But my children grew up like that too, Marlene. I showed
Hmm.
them they had to save up money, and I started them when they were like
Yep.
5, 5, 6 years old. They
Uh,
had to do little chores, and they will get a
yeah.
whole 25 cents.
Oh, you got good. I got a dime.
No, 25 cents for picking up
Oh, you
their
are rich.
toys. Oh, they were rich. My
Oh,
son even
a
asked me
quarter?
when he
Mm-mm.
was like 5 or 6, Mom, can you buy me a wallet? I need a wallet for my money. He had like $4 saved. So I bought him his first wallet when he was like 5 years old. And he will take that wallet everywhere. And he used to guard it with his life for his $4. But guess what? Right now, they value their money.
Yes.
They work and they save, they work and they economize. They don't go just buy a pair of
Hmm.
shoes because it's $200, and they're in season right now, so I want to pay the $200. My children don't do that. I
Yeah.
don't do that. I don't
Yeah.
do that. And I can afford it. I
Yeah.
could, if I wanted to, buy very expensive purses, but to me, it
Yeah.
defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Why am I
But
going
what?
to buy
But
a
why do it?
$1,500 purse so that I can get mugged because they see that I have an expensive purse and probably no money in it,
Yeah.
but I have an expensive purse?
Yes. I'm going to go back to some of the comments because I've missed a lot. Robert says you can't be their friend; you have to parent.
Yes,
I agree with that.
exactly.
This is a very important statement. Robert says, "Why are the parents scared of kids?" And I don't know about you all, but I feel that parents are scared of kids because society has you scared. If you do this to children, you're going to jail. If you do this to children, that's abuse. It's always like parents are threatened instead of encouraged to raise good members of society. But then when the kids are out of control, somebody will say, "Why didn't somebody hit that kid?
No,
Why
why
did?"
did where's your parents at? Where are your
Yeah.
parents at? Why didn't your
Mhm.
parents parent you? And I think my eldest threatened with calling that popo once. I
Oh
think
no,
she
they
only did
didn't.
it once. But yes, she did. It wasn't a good day for her. But but let me tell you, Miss Marlene, she was more afraid to call that popo than the popo coming. No, she actually said something about, well, they say that if you hurt your child, or if you abuse, she said, your child, I
Oh.
can call the police and you'll get in trouble. And I said it will take about 10 minutes for the police to get here. It's
Mhm.
worth going to jail for what I'm about to do to you by the time they get
Yeah.
and her dad just looked at me
Yeah.
and she was like, no, mom, I didn't say I was going to. I'm just saying. I go, well, I'm just saying that to you as well. I'm just telling you. It takes about 10, 15 minutes on a lucky day, because if they're on other calls, by the time they get to you, hopefully you'll be able to talk to them with your straight mouth,
If
full of
that's if they're
teeth,
a that's
full
if
of
they're
teeth.
alive still. If they're alive still,
Yeah,
that's
so
the
she
thing.
tried to do that, and I was like, "Here's the phone, honey. Call them." And I put my
Hmm.
hair up, in a little bun.
Yeah,
I got
like
my
my
tennis shoes.
mom would take off my earrings. Okay,
Yeah.
take off my earrings, put some Vaseline on because I'm gonna be fighting the police too. Yep.
No, I just said I put my hair in a little bun. Like if I'm ready to do some cleanup. I got my tennis shoes on, and I was like, "Okay, here's the phone. Let me get ready for you to call them." And
Yeah,
she's
let's
looking at
get
me the
ready.
whole time. And her dad, it's like he was like
Uh oh. Did you go out? Oh. Are you still there, Miss Nexie? I don't know. Um. Let's read some. Oh, I think you're still there, Miss Nexie. It's.
ah.
Oh, here it
Eh,
is. You're back.
You can hear me? I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. It's kind of weird because sometimes I hear you with delay. It's so
Oh,
weird.
okay.
Yeah, so her dad was like towards the living room and he was cracking up because she was like, I saw you getting your little bun up. And she was looking, he's like, I was looking at her and she was so scared. And like I said, I don't, yeah, I crack my knuckles. I don't hit them. I've never done that. Like I
Uh-oh. It's doing that weird thing again. I wonder if it's gonna come back.
um,
Okay.
did it come back? I don't,
Yes.
I'm telling you, I don't know what is going
It's
on here.
okay, Miss Nexley.
Sorry.
Let me read one more comment. Shay says, I've noticed parents who exhibit this parenting style also have parents who let them do as they please as well. I think that's a thing
Mm-hmm.
too. If you grew up in a very like say well, your parents were very violent to you, it's very hard to change bad behaviors that you got from your parents, but you can do it because I grew up in that, like everything you do. And it didn't even make any sense, Miss Nexty. I remember growing up and everything like slap for this, slap for that, and you're like, what did I even
Y-
do?
Thank you.
I have no idea. And then you better not ask what you did because you'll get a slap for that too.
It again. This is what I'm saying. We're not criticizing because we're not the ones raising these children. But
Hmm.
there's one thing I always did in my household is that my children had to behave at home. And I will have my sister-in-laws who will allow my nieces and nephews to run all over the house, destroy the house, do whatever they wanted, and then they wanted them to behave in somebody else's home. And I will used to
Hmm.
tell my sister-in-laws, no, you do at home with your kids what you want them to do outside of their home. You cannot expect them to be unruly inside your household, which is where they were supposed to be taking care of their goods, their toys, their beds, everything. And you want them not to jump on somebody else's couches when you are allowing them to do it at home. The way children,
Uh-oh. It's doing it again. Is it just me? Are you back?
I, yeah, I don't know. Am I back?
Yeah, you are.
I see. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my internet, Miss Marlene. It's been
I don't
acting
know. I don't know.
up.
I'm wondering if it's me
No,
or
it's
if
not you. It's not
okay.
you. It's me. It's my internet
Okay.
because I had a hard time logging in, and then
Hmm.
every time like I move to a certain place, it acts up. Yeah, but so I thought my children the behavior at home and established it there, so that when we went
Hmm.
somewhere else, they didn't behave the way they behave, or they behaved the way they behaved at home.
Right.
It's because my sister-in-laws will always be telling my little nieces and nephews, don't jump in the couches, your auntie doesn't like it, don't be messing up the beds, don't be messing up the toys. And I will tell
Hmm.
them what is how they behave at your house. So they come to a familiar home, their auntie, they're going to behave the same way. You have to start at home.
Yeah.
Everything starts at
Y-
home,
y-
but you don't have to
Exactly,
slap them for it.
Miss Nexie. I wish you could put that in lights. Like I wish that was like that's on a movie theater screen, like in Hollywood. Parent, it starts at home, parents. It starts at home. Like, and people should wear shirts. I mean, I'm in for it. I'll buy it. I'll wear it. It starts at home, parents. The what I don't like is the parents that don't do anything at home, like they're not disciplining them, and they expect when they go out, like, why are you acting like that? Stop screaming. Stop doing this. All kids are doing when they go out is what they do at home.
Exactly. Exactly. And geeky girl, you're so right. We were seen and not heard
Yes.
in a lot of places. And I'm not saying you have to be a tyrant, Miss Marlene. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
My household, and I always told this to my husband, my ex-husband.
Mhm.
Because sometimes he will say, you know what, you allow them to be
Mhm.
just laying there doing nothing. They're not being productive all day. And I used to tell them, why do you want them to be working all day? They already cleaned their room, they already did their dishes, they already did their laundry. Let
Right.
them be in peace in their room if that's what they want. Second, I tell them this is the house where they can be relaxed, they
Free.
can be in peace, they can be free, they can just be themselves. I said, life as a grown up, adulting is hard. Why do you want to
Yes.
make their childhood hard? They are gonna grow up and go and live life. So this
Yes.
household, I'm gonna make sure that they know it's a safeguard for them. I'm gonna
I
make sure
love.
that they know they can always return. But if they do, under mama's rules.
Yeah. See, and I like what you just said, Miss Nexie, because one thing about old school parenting, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everything about old school parenting was bad, but I do not agree with the communication styles because back in the day, it was parents like Shay and a few people in the chat were talking about children were seen and not heard. That happened, but at the same time you can't expect for kids to know how to communicate. How can kids know how to communicate? How can they know, about certain things unless you teach them? That
Hmm.
teaching starts in while they're young, and it makes them develop life skills that they can
Yes.
know how to interact with other people and not be like, let me say it this way, Miss Nexie. I feel like the younger generation, I'm getting very nervous because the younger generation is so antisocial. And I saw a comment somewhere in the chat where they were saying all kids are on these days is their phone. It's
Mm-hmm.
about the phone, the digital things, like they're on the computer. All they know how to do is type and text and computer. But when it comes to having the communication skills or learning how to make eye contact with people, I feel like people in probably maybe our age group, or but I really feel scared for the children that I would say like are 20 right now. They're like 20, 18. I feel very scared for them because yeah, Robert, that's what a lot of people call them, the lost generation,
Yep.
because they will be lost, and I can't say all of them. I'm not putting every child under an adult age as lost, but if they don't have firm parenting or discipline in the household, or showing them certain skills, like what you know I remember when my mom used to say, give that to them, and said, don't look down, look at them in their eye and say thank you. Like now these days I can appreciate these things because I didn't understand how important it is. Look at somebody in their eye, say
Mm-hmm.
hello. When you see other people, greet them, say good morning. Like those are the things now. Like people pass you and they will look at you the whole time you're walking up to, and look at you right in your eye and don't even say hello. You're
Exactly.
like, what is.
And that's a great point, Miss Marlene. That is an amazing point you just made because, again, it starts at home. Shay has said it too, and it's something that we have to emphasize here because I think that we're forgetting that education, upbringing, good upbringing, and everything in between starts at home. You're responsible for these little humans that are not going to stay little forever. They're going to grow up and they're going to grow up to represent you in the world. Okay. Which is what my dad always said. You
Mhm,
guys are going to represent me. So I have to make sure that you guys, and I never understood what he meant back then when I was younger. Now, with my children, every time every morning, good morning, mom, good morning, dad, a hug and a kiss. When they were done eating their breakfast, thank you, mom. You're welcome, honey. It was delicious. Okay. Dinner. Thank you, mom. It was good. Pick up the dishes, put them in the sink, even if they didn't wash them. The fact that they did that. Thank you, mom, for the meal.
mhm.
And it's those are things that I taught them so that when they went out, and again, I know I'm beating this huge drum around my children, but that's the only reference I have. My kids go to somebody's house, they thank that person for the meal. They look at them
Yeah.
like, "What? You just thank me? Oh, you're welcome." They look at them like, "Okay," but they are very welcome everywhere they go. Now, a lot of parents, with the point that you brought earlier, where and I think Geeky Girl said the same thing, is that we were supposed to be seen but not heard. The problem with that, and I always told this to other people, is that when you don't speak to your children, when you don't get them used to
Mhm.
trusting you to be able to say everything or anything, you just want to see them but not hear them. When they get older, you don't have that relationship with them, and you want
Mhm.
that. You want them to come to you for everything, but yet when they were little, you were always
Yeah.
shutting them up.
You pushed them
You were
aside.
always telling them, "Shh, no, 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 go to your room, don't ask questions, but then as they get older, I have heard a lot of mothers that had that kind of mentality say, you know what, they don't come to me. My daughters don't trust me. My
Mm.
daughters don't ask me for anything. My daughters don't, and I will look at them and say, how can they? You never allow them to develop that trust and that bond with you because it's a
Mhm.
bonding. There is things that you're going to be shocked when your kids ask you, and I'm telling you from experience. But the fact that they ask you that, it means that you did a good job raising them, that they have that bond with you, that they can do and say anything, and that you're not going to shut them up, or you're not going to yell at them, or you're not, they're
Yeah.
able to come to you for whatever. And that's the one thing that I always tell people. You cannot tell kids, you have to be quiet, don't ask me questions right now, I don't want to hear it, just do as you're told. You have to
Mhm.
explain, because we're in an era right now where everything is digital. You
Yep.
were losing the privilege of talking to one another because
Yeah.
of all these devices. So why not take the extra 5 minutes that is going to take you to explain what he's asking you, instead of him going to his phone and asking the same question he wanted to ask you? You lose those moments. And childhood is a very, very short season.
Very
It's
short.
not something that children spend a lot of time on. It's a very short season. And yes, what you know try to overcome in your adulthood. But childhood is the time where you can bond with your child, is the time where you can teach them good communication skills, is the time where you can teach them how to appreciate money, how to earn money, how to do
Mhm.
certain things. So unless you take the time, those 5-10 minutes that it's going to take you a day to maybe do what you're supposed to do with your child, if you don't do that, you're going to lose an entire relationship in
Yeah.
adulthood.
Well, and Miss Nexie, I have to say, like you know, I'm not talking about my parents because I feel like every person as they parent, they only can give the best that they can. And my parents didn't come from that generation of talking about things and communicating. But as they got older, they did say we really messed up because they realized as they got older and they got to be grandparents that, oh, I should have talked to you about certain things, but like I really didn't know how. And I do respect for my parents for coming back later on and saying, we did mess up, but we just didn't know how. So I respect them for that part. But at the same time, you can't expect, like you said, closeness,
Hmm.
you know um like I always have said to my friends that are parents as well, and I'll tell them this: if you don't form a close bond while they're young, when they right now you're forced to be with them, but when they get older you have to develop a relationship to where they feel like I miss my mom, I miss
Hmm.
my dad. If you never gave them that closeness, they're not gonna miss you. They're gonna be like,
No.
they're gonna run. They're gonna say, "Get me out
They're
of
gonna be
here."
busy with friends, they're gonna be having fun, they're not gonna have a need for you.
Mhm.
And again, it's those fleeting years, those fleeting moments that sometimes we regret as parents, because we were either working too hard, working too long, not really paying attention because we were so tired.
Yeah,
Sometimes we're like, oh my god, I should have done more here,
yeah.
I didn't do
Our
it.
our
But
our, um our priorities weren't in the right place.
yes, exactly. And
Mhm.
and again, the one thing you have to always make sure is as uncomfortable a topic as it can be, because trust me, Marlene, when I tell you this, I have had some uncomfortable conversations with my children. But I try to keep my cool, because even though I'm uncomfortable with what is being asked of me or said,
Mhm.
I still want to give them that room of I can go to my mom for anything,
Yep.
because she's always there willing and
Yeah.
ready for me to ask or say anything. But I have had some very uncomfortable adult requests,
Right.
conversations, type of things, and I'm like, oh my god, how do I deal with this? If
Yep.
I can't, I will say, you know what, let me get back to you on that one. I'll find out and I'll let you
Yep.
know. But just give me like a day or so, and I'll get back.
You know what, my I can appreciate, but I feel like if it's not both of your parents, you have to at least have one parent that you can go to. My mother was not it, because my mom, she didn't want to hear anything about it. Especially my mom never wanted to think that you were an attractive person or people were attracted to you. My mom could not handle it. But my dad, on the other hand, my dad would be like grit, like clenching his teeth, like, yeah, sure, we can talk. Like, he was so uncomfortable, but he was
My,
like, okay.
Did your dad get that
I'll
little
listen.
cough?
I don't know what to say, but he always used to tell us that I'm here for you. I may not know what to do, but one thing I do appreciate about my dad, he may not have liked it. It may have been new to him because in his generation, my parents were born in the 1930s. They
Oh,
just
there was no such a thing.
they didn't talk about those things. So of course, in his upbringing, he of course that's like weird and
my,
stuff.
my dad will do the yeah
Yeah,
yeah. I was like, I you didn't have a cough when I saw you
yeah,
this morning. Like,
yeah,
but yeah, you're right. They have this weird upbringing because my parents are from that time as well,
yeah.
and my dad had um only brothers. They had no
Oh
sisters.
wow.
So he grew up with six brothers. So it was seven brothers altogether. And so the only girl there was my grandmother
Wow.
and my great grandmother. So they didn't really have,
They didn't have that.
any girls around to get familiar with girl stuff.
Mhm.
And back in those days, your mom and your grandmother was not going to talk to a boy about girl things. Oh,
No,
God,
no,
no.
no.
So my poor dad had to learn from his three daughters what it was to have girls around.
Yeah, he really learned, didn't he?
Oh, that poor old man.
Poor
Rest in
guy.
peace now, Papa.
I want to highlight the comment from Kiki Girls Journal. She says if they can't talk to their parents, they also can develop low self-esteem because they don't think what they has to say is important, and if they don't have the opportunity to communicate, they may also develop poor communication skills.
Amen to
And
that.
yeah, and I can say coming from that, growing up, in that, not being free to express myself and communicate what I was going through. And being a kid is hard, you know.
Hmm.
It's really hard to be a kid, and like with all the changes in your mind and your body and the environment and learning things. It's a hard learning curve to be a kid. And if you don't have the support like what you're dealing with and going through, like getting that support, like I went through that too, like just to hear that, like I'm not going crazy. You've thought that too. I wish that
Yeah.
I had that comfort when I was younger, but I make sure that I give that to other people around me. I do mentorship. I have my cousins and nieces and nephews and other people in my life, but I like to tell them, like, you're not going crazy. Like, like when they go through that, like preteen, and they're covering up their whole body, wearing
Ugh.
turtlenecks in the summer. I was like, it's
Yeah,
okay.
in 100-degree weather.
Yeah, in 100-degree weather, they're wearing hoodies. I said, It will pass. It's okay that your body is changing. Trust me. One day you're gonna embrace it, and you're gonna think, I look good like this, like my body changing." And they're like, "I'm gonna like this one day." I said, "Yes, you will like it, and you're gonna like the other people like it on you. Trust me."
Yes, yes, you're right. And the button it up the shirts all the way to the top because and
Mhm.
hunching so that nobody sees anything, and
Yep,
your friends are seeing the changes and you don't have anyone to go to and talk to. It can be very
exactly.
traumatic for someone,
Very, very.
and it can be very very like damaging to that little
Mhm.
teen's mind as they
Exactly.
get older into adulthood. It can create a lot of like poor self-image.
A lot of issues. And I do agree with what Robert said. Kids will get the wrong information from the internet, and that's why I always say it's so
Yes.
important. It's so important to talk to your kids. Don't let them read about certain things. And one thing that I have to say, all the time, I'm always going to advocate, please talk to your children about good touch and bad touch. I would hate to see a child become victimized because they think it's their fault. And being a person who went through that, who got victimized, let your child know nobody should be touching your body. Okay? Nobody. That's
Exactly.
your personal body. And if somebody does it, even if they say that they're going to harm me, tell me anyways. You have to give
Mm-hmm.
your children awareness. And there's power when a kid knows it's not me. And you tell them it's wrong if somebody touches you. You have to teach your children that so that they have a good self-esteem and body image and not feel like they have to hide things or blame themselves for years because of some creep doing something to
Hmm.
them. No, you don't have to hide. Tell me and I'll take care of it.
Yeah. See those different size cutlasses I have over here by the wall? Yeah, they won't harm me, honey.
Oh
Auntie
yeah.
Marlene got
Oh
this.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's one thing that, I love my parents, but they just didn't have the awareness that we do now because my parents were completely different. They were in the Caribbean. Things are different in the Caribbean than they are in the United States. So they didn't understand about schools in the United States and things like that. But it's some things are just not good, but I've learned to take what I didn't like and I leave that and take what I did get that was good, and then I put that out for the next generation, like certain things that kids don't know these days, like learning how to thread a needle, how to sew a button on, how to some of these skill,
Yes.
now, Miss Nexie, I know it sounds strange, but some of the skills that we learned growing up, it's like they're going away. Like,
Yeah, it's an
you know,
ancient type of
yeah,
skill. It's an ancient type of skill. If they
yeah,
cannot put a button back, they give it away. They give that blouse
yeah.
away, or
They
they
throw
throw
they
it
throw it in the
away,
garbage.
or
Hmm.
yeah, because of a button. If it's got a little stain, a little, thorn
Yeah,
over here or whatever, it's yeah, it's not
yeah.
worthy anymore. Let's throw it away. It's brand new. Yeah, but the button fell
It
off.
has the button fell off, or if
Sew it
if
back
if
on. I don't know how to
yeah,
do that.
or if even simple things like it's simple to me because I was raised that way. Knowing how to put in a zipper, learning how
Yes.
to even how to iron a shirt. I heard a young person say, "What are you talking about? Like iron? They didn't know what an iron was."
Did your brothers know how to sew up a button? Because my
Yeah,
brothers did. My
yeah.
brothers know how to do that. They know how to fix their zippers. They know how to do all of those things. When pants were too long, they know how to, try
Mhm,
to, hey, realist. They know how to do all those things. And nowadays, that is, again, it's a skill that
mhm.
is lost. It's lost.
It's lost. It's lost. And
They don't know.
my heart breaks. I know that this is going to sound crazy, but I grew up even simple things like teaching your kids how to do personal hygiene. Brush your teeth,
Eesh.
clean your tongue,
Yep.
wash your private areas, certain things to do, put on deodorant. Simple things. I know that may sound like, oh, who doesn't know that? But you would not believe how many young people don't know certain things about personal hygiene. They don't know because they spend all their time on phones and computers that they're not learning the real skills to live in this life. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to do so many things. They don't know how to take care of basic things like um because I've worked as a nursing assistant for a long time, and I remember they said the job could not be filled because the new nursing assistants say, I don't cook. I don't cook for a client. I'm not here to cook. I'm not your chef. I'm like, they want a scrambled egg. That's not being a chef.
Mm.
They was like, I don't cook. It's like if they want some food, they better have a frozen dinner. I'm not cooking for nobody. That's why they couldn't fill the position.
Wow.
I was like, you can't scramble an egg? And I was like,
Well, speaking of hygiene, I had an encounter with a little one a few months back, and the little one had a toothache. He was a little swollen. They brought him
hmm,
into the emergency because he was crying,
yeah.
whatever. And I asked, um, how often do you brush your teeth? Is this because you brush? He's like, oh, no, no, I only do it in the morning. Yeah. I said, you don't brush before you go to bed? No. my mom only taught me to brush my teeth in the morning when I get up in the morning. So before going to bed, you're not brushing your teeth to get the day out of your mouth. And she's like, no, I
Scary.
was only taught to brush my teeth in the morning, and that's what I've done all my life. So I've been teaching my kids, you get up, you brush your teeth, and you go on with your day. And I said, yes, but at nighttime, there's so many things that they're eating. Are you
Mhm,
flossing? Because that might have something to do because it was a permanent tooth. It wasn't a
mhm.
baby tooth anymore. So I said, that may have something to do. It's probably why it's swollen and things like that. It's like, oh, so I'm supposed to have them brush at night as well? And I said,
Whew.
yes, before they go to bed. And this is like a 19-year-old girl having a little baby, like 5 or 6 years old.
Mm,
I
mm,
think it was
mm.
6.5. Sorry, 6.5, because he told me he was 6.5. I forgot the
Wow.
half at one point, and he got upset because he was 6.5.
Oh, but
Almost
remember,
seven.
Miss Nexie, remember when we were the halves?
Yes.
Nobody
It was
better
very
forgot that
important
you were 6.5, not
because he
6.
was almost 7. He was almost 7. You got to think about that, Miss Marlene. He could almost drive at that point. And I forgot that he was 6.5. But
Oh, you
yeah,
better
so
not. Mhm.
the mommy, a child, 19 years old, says that she's only been taught since she was little just to brush in the morning. And I said, well, you know what? Let's start with him. Do it twice a day. You're supposed to do it 3 times a day, but let's do it twice a day. It might be too much for you in the morning, and then take him to his dentist so that they can check. But once a day, like,
Mm,
you know,
yep, yep.
and do you rinse his mouth? They got those kids. I think it's they have a lot of mouth rinses for children nowadays. I said, do you
Mhm.
use any of that? No, we don't. Okay, buy him something like that. Make sure you brush around that area. But it hurts him. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you brush because what's happening is a lot of bacteria is accumulating there and blah blah blah. And okay, so twice a day now. Oh my god. Okay, I guess you're gonna have to brush twice a day now. I'm like, oh my
Yeah, and
god.
they have
But
that
again,
attitude.
it's something that she was brought up in. You brush in the morning and you go on with your day and you go to bed at night. You don't have to do anything else to your mouth. And you just do it again in the morning. And I get it. A lot of people do it that way, I guess. But, for all the
Bye.
junk the kids eat during the day, I felt that it was, important for her to know that do it twice a day, especially before going to bed. You got to clean the day out of your teeth.
Ay, ay, ay. That. Oh,
Sí,
I'm
señor.
sorry, Miss Nexus. That really messed me up. I messed up a little
Imagine
bit.
him
You
as a
continue.
husband later on. Imagine him as a husband later on in life.
D-
And you
d-
just
d-
brush in the morning and then no, no, I'm sorry.
and
I
and and
thought of all
um
of that.
and Miss Nexie, working in healthcare, working as a nursing assistant, um, let me say that I'm very nervous about the hygiene habits of the younger generation.
Hmm.
It's like they feel spring on deodorant, spring on a cologne is taking a bath. They just change their clothes.
Mm.
They just change the outfit and put on a new outfit and just spray some cologne. And I'm like,
No.
I was like, they've been laying in bed all day in their
Hmm.
own sweat, and I'm like, did you take a shower? And there's like, I took a shower yesterday.
Have you been talking to my guy here? Because tomorrow, that's his word. Okay, we're going to take a shower.
Mm.
No, tomorrow. I said, no, no, no. Today is tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything starts at home, Marlene. These skills
Does.
of hygiene, this is what a lot of people don't understand. You develop this. It's a discipline that you have to teach your children. These are
You have
habits. These
to.
are disciplines that you have to. The same way they make their bed every morning, the same way they
Mhm.
fold their clothes. You have to make them do these things because they're not going to live with you forever. They're
No,
not going to. Uh-huh, go on.
and also the way you raise your children, you raise your children to be independent, or you raise your children to be dependent in whatever. If they have a roommate, if they get into a relationship, like you're making, when you don't raise your kids the right way, you make them, I don't know, I don't even know what to call the word. You make them be um just a headache for the next person
Hmm.
that has to deal with them. Like
You raise
simple things like they just take off their clothes, they drop it on the ground. They, they everywhere they go. I've seen people like this working in healthcare. They get out of the bed, they don't pull the sheet back on the bed. They take off their socks, they drop it on the ground everywhere they go. So it's like a trail, the whole. And I'm telling you, Miss Nixon, I've seen it. I mean, you
Yep.
just can't believe it. Like, you just will go in the room, clean it up, and you come back in 15 minutes and the place is a wreck. When I
Hmm.
say a wreck, I mean a wreck. The whatever they ate, food crumbs are all in the bed, on the floor. There's one sock here, one sock there. The bathroom sprayed with water. It's, and I just said, "What is going on in here?" And they're
And
looking like,
again,
"What?"
it starts when they're young, when they're at home. These things, when you're passing on the
Mhm,
headaches that you have at home when they're little, like my kids had their own little hamper. The girls had their own, the boys had their
mhm,
own, I had my own. You know what I mean? Like we all had, so that when they take off, I got my kids used to that. The minute they stepped in the house from school, the shoes will be left at the entrance. They
yeah,
could walk around socks because the floors were nice and clean. They will go into their room, take off that dirty stuff, dirty clothes, and put on their pajamas or their casual clothes at home that they want, their
mhm,
leisure clothes. They want
right,
to just sit around, do nothing, but they will take off
yeah,
everything that they came to school from.
mhm,
And at nighttime, take a bath, brush their teeth, go to bed.
yeah.
But I see a
In
lot of
my
kids.
family, we called it "put on your play clothes."
Yeah, exactly. But and to this day, Marlene, my son, he gets home from his dad. Like he came home earlier from his dad's, right? He
Mhm.
comes straight in, takes off everything, and puts on his play clothes, like you say.
Yep.
He puts on his favorite PJs, summertime PJs, his
Mhm.
shirt, he takes it off. He takes off everything, puts his
Right.
slippers on, and he's ready to be, because I got it even, and he's autistic. He
Mhm.
already got the, like, I've trained them all to do the same thing. You know, you
Right.
brush your teeth in the morning. Oh, another thing, Marlene. Oh God, I gotta tell you this. I
Oh, I'm
saw
ready
one
to hear
time
this.
we went out somewhere, and I my kids were little at this point, and we went out with one of my sister-in-laws when I think it was on a vacation somewhere. And my kids got up in the morning, they washed their face, brushed their teeth, put on their clothes. We're gonna go to the pool, and my little nieces and nephews get up, put on their clothes, start eating breakfast, and I'm looking at my sister-in-law like they haven't brushed their teeth, they haven't
Mm.
washed their face. And then I asked her, I said, "Aren't you gonna make them?" Oh, yeah, they do it afterwards. I said, "After they eat breakfast? Ew." Yeah. So they go brush their teeth. I said, "Wash your face." "Oh, we don't do that." I said, "You don't wash your face in the morning?" No, we don't. My those nieces and nephews are grown now. And
Mm.
guess what they're doing? The
Same
same
thing.
thing.
Mhm.
The same thing, Marlene. I have been there for a day or so. I have gotten in the morning. They get up. They say, if you're lucky, they'll say, "Hey," if you're lucky. And they go straight
Oh,
into
if it's a
grabbing
good
a bowl
day.
of cereal. If it's a good day, hey, because there's no respect there.
Mm,
And they'll go
they just
grab
walk right
a,
past you.
yep. and you know what I mean? I have to say, "Morning, hen." But since they know me already, they know that they're supposed to say that to me. So they come to me and say, "Hey, morning, auntie." But if you catch them in a bad day, it's just get up, go straight into the pantry, get their bowl of
Yep.
cereal, eat, and then they might go do their teeth.
They might.
Yeah, might.
Mm,
It's not a for sure thing. So those habits, it keeps on proving to us, right? As we get older, it keeps on proving to us that what we do at home, those habits we established, is because those are good habits to have moving
yeah.
forward. You don't want your kid to be the stinky one in a roommate's place. You don't want him to be kicked out or her to be kicked out every other month because they can't stand how dirty, how lazy, how nasty this person
or
is.
or or what the way, because of lack of parenting now as an adult in the workplace, nobody wants to work around them because they have no what you call it, I can't think of the word right now, it just blanked out of my head,
Social
but
skills, Marlene.
social skills
Social
too.
skills. That's
But I meant they have no organization. Like everything
again.
is just you know, just a
Yeah.
mess. And it's not a good thing. So I wanted
It,
to say hi to some people who came in that I've never
oh,
seen in here before. Hi, I hope I'm
oh,
not
James
butchered.
Money. Hi, James
Yeah.
Money.
Hi, James Money. Hi, I hope I'm saying your name right. Good thing, Oticia. How are you? Let's see who else. There was somebody, and Monique B. Hi, welcome in.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you
Welcome
so
in.
much.
And again, Marlene, these are my kids will say when they were little, "I'll do it later." No, 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 you do it now. Oh, why? Because I'm telling you to do it now. Later on, you're going to forget. Then you're going to have a dirty mouth and you're going to be stinky. Okay, mom, all right. I'll do it now. And that's a form of parenting. I wasn't trying to be their friend. If I was their friend, I would say, "Okay, honey, you do it later whenever you want to." No,
Mhm.
now. And you
Now,
fight
yeah,
with them in the beginning because it's a new rule. Or like when you do your bed before you get up. Oh, mom, do it. Later on, it becomes a habit.
yeah,
And it's not something that you're telling them because you want to bother them. It's a skill that you're teaching them so that when they get older,
love,
first and
yeah,
foremost, they're going to be able to take orders from their bosses because that's the one thing that we don't think. Becoming our children's friends doesn't teach
yes,
them respect towards others.
yeah.
Okay? If my son, first, I'm telling you, I always say this, I have an army son. To this day, that boy has never raised his voice at me, ever. He wouldn't dare. And it's not because he's frightened, it's because he respects me. Because it's the same way I have respected him, right?
Yeah,
So now my son will never raise his voice or disrespect his employer because everything started at home. See,
that's so
having your
important.
children follow a certain rules and knowing that you are their parent first. You can be
Hmm.
a someone they can confide in. You can be someone that they can count on because you are their parent, but you're not their friend. That's not your job. They're gonna get
No,
those at school, but you
no,
are their parent. So teaching them good hygiene, teaching them that when you give them a rule, they follow it. You're not teaching them that because you want to make their life miserable. You're
yeah,
teaching them that because adulting is hard.
yeah.
Okay. And if you have bad habits because you haven't been taught the right way, it's going to be to four, five, 1,000 times harder.
It's so much harder, Miss Nexie, to change when you've been doing something wrong or bad for so many years. Listen, I you know how I grew up, and it's not good to have the parent. I had the mom that was like, if you don't want to do it, oh well, that's your problem. And that sounds funny and cute. And I thought, oh, good, I can do whatever I want to. But then when I got older, and now I'm paralyzed. Now I'm disabled because if you have your kids you're doing everything for your kids. You don't tell them about boundaries. When I got older and somebody told me no, I was like, what do you mean no?
Mhm.
because I was never told no. I could do whatever I wanted to. I could, you know. And then when someone told me no, I remember being so hurt. And my mom's like, "Yeah," they said no. And I was like, "Well, you never told me no." So it does come back full circle. And one thing I will say, everybody, my opinion is not Miss Nexie's or Roberts or anybody who's here in the chat, but my personal opinion. I think that in the beginning of being a parent, you do, have to be a parent, but you can have a friendship with your children as they get older. So when they get to be 18 and up, they're gonna feel like you've developed this relationship, but I don't mean
Mhm.
like best friend that they could be disrespectful and things like that, because one thing I will appreciate about my parents is my mom always told me that even when I was way past grown, I still never got to the stage where I was going to have a drink with my mother, or I
No.
was going to there's certain things that my mom's like, yeah, you're grown now, and if you want to go have a drink, go have a drink with your friends,
Mhm.
but you're not going to have a drink with me because I'm always going to be your mother. So my mom never got to that stage with me ever, even till she passed. She was like, I'm not going to, your little hangout buddy. I'm not, no, we're not doing
I have witnessed. I think I told you this before. I had someone in the clinic where they were coming back from a vacation. The daughter, the daughter's boyfriend, the mom, and the mom's boyfriend were sharing
that.
a room somewhere. I mean, to
Mm.
me, that was scandalous. I was like, "What?"
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Rewind. Yeah, I'm like back in the day. I just,
Yes,
you just trigger me back to my days of VHS. Hold on, Miss Nexie. Rewind.
I can rewind for you. They were on vacation somewhere. They went on vacation, and the mom and the daughter and their prospective boyfriends stay in one room, all four together, because there were no more rooms in the inn.
Miss
So they
Nexie.
share,
No.
yes, ma'am, a two
No, Miss
bedroom
Nexie.
room.
No.
And
No.
my mouth, one of
No.
the people there
No.
had to close it because I was like,
No.
what?
So you mean that you got a boyfriend and a girlfriend in one bed, and the mother is in another bed in the same room?
With her boyfriend.
I'm like, say what?
Daughter,
Come again?
mom, boyfriend, boyfriend. Yes, yes. They and I I'm telling my mouth. One of the nurses had to close it. You gotta close your. My mind was so blown, and I'm old school. You know what I mean? Like, well, I shouldn't say
Yes.
I'm old school, but I'm of that mentality of what?
Okay. I almost said something that was not YouTube friendly.
Yeah,
I
exactly. Which is why I'm sugarcoating it. But what I
Yeah.
said was it's not YouTube friendly, so I cannot say what I actually said.
No, I already know. Yeah, and there was a song that came on the radio, to the no, no, no.
Hi, it's me. um,
Hey, Julie.
and
Welcome.
I was like, I have okay. Give me a
Mm-mm.
minute. I'll be right.
No, I'm sorry, Miss Nexie. It's a no for me. There's certain things that is like, that's weird. It's a different thing. Like if a parent moves in with their kids or something, move in the same home, but being in the same bedroom,
When you go on vacation, like when
no,
we used to go on vacation, we always got
no.
two rooms, right?
Mhm.
We got, next to each other. So the children had their room, we had their rooms. It was us, their parents in a different room, and the
Yeah.
kids had the room next to us. So we had the door in between. We leave it open so the kids can come in and out.
Hmm.
We're their parents. So imagine a 20-plus-year-old girl and her mom go on vacation and take their boyfriends, but they only have one room. with two beds. So they rented the one room with two beds. I was
Mm-mm. I agree. I agree with Robert on this one. They should have went to a different hotel.
Robert, I would have slept in the car. Honey, you get the room. I'll sleep in the car. I'll
No, no,
see you
no, no,
in a
no. You
couple
have
of
that wrong, Miss Nexie. They sleep in the car.
days.
I'm the mom.
Yeah, so the mom and her boyfriend, and the daughter and her boyfriend. And again, I'm not, this is my opinion, not Marlene's. I was just shocked because it's not something that I will do. It's not something that I saw people doing growing up. And it's that boundary that you don't cross with your children. At least I wouldn't do that. I couldn't have my boyfriend, my daughter and her husband, me and my boyfriend.
Miss
So
Nexie, hold on, stop right there. Let me tell you something. And Julie is in the chat. Robert is in the chat. They're both Caribbean people. You're a Caribbean person, Miss Nexie. There's certain things when you're Caribbean, okay, that no. Even when I was in my late 20s, I still couldn't say to my mother, I had a boyfriend. My mom said, "You got a what?" I said, boy. Even I was scared to say it. She's like, "What? You have a what?" I was like, "I have a friend." She said, "That's what I thought you said, boyfriend." No, you ain't got no boyfriend.
Marlene,
You don't have no boyfriend, no, ma'am.
the guy in when we started, my dad didn't even know that we had already started dating, right? Because there was, I mean, we were, first of all, we couldn't really date because of my siblings, my brothers.
Hmm.
But when we did, and we found ways to do it, you know how we are skillful that way.
Oh yeah, you know how to be very
We find
secretive.
ways to do it. And so when we did that, the thing that I I will never, like, I could never say, oh, me and my boyfriend to my father, right?
Mm.
Or my boyfriend. Oh yeah, we're gonna go to the movies. We're gonna. I will feel so embarrassed. Even when I got married, okay, and we went back home to see my dad and everything, I was behaving like like he was a friend, and that's my
Oh.
husband. You know what
Mm.
I mean? Oh, he's my friend. Like, don't touch me, don't hug me, don't kiss.
I
My
don't
dad is
I
here.
don't know. I don't know.
I don't know
Julie,
how he made those children, but he's never touched me, daddy.
yeah. Um, Julie says it's not shocking to her because she's seen people who are less fortunate share one room structures with children and their partners. Yeah, but no, that's not a norm though, Julie. Most people, when they're in relationships, if you're with somebody, you have your own place with your person, and you have your place, separate from your parents and things like that. But especially we're talking about a vacation thing.
Yeah,
That's a weird thing. If you're on vacation, most likely you're like, me and my person, we're in this room, and then maybe your mom or your dad or whoever, they're in their own room. But together, I don't know. That makes me.
that was kind of weird to me. Again, I have, um I have my daughters, they're married. My son is married. I have gone places, and we've probably had, we could rent, an Airbnb, a house with three different rooms, right? We can do that. We can stay, but this part was different because the mom was there with her boyfriend, and the daughter was there with their boyfriend. They're sleeping in the same room in different beds. To me, it was kind of like, what? I was embarrassed, but because maybe something that I wouldn't be able to do. Like, if maybe there was one room, I would stay with my mom and the boys can stay in the other. But you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
something like that. But it's still weird to me because if you don't have like the money to pay something, then don't,
Then
who am
don't
I?
go. Then don't go.
It was just strange, Marlene. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to say. It was very strange to me
Yeah.
that happened like that because, again, we all have different upbringings. We're not
Mhm.
downing anyone for doing that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, those are certain values that you have to place in your children because they don't stay small. So there's
Yep.
certain boundaries you don't cross to keep that respect both ways, not just on your part.
Yep. On
You
theirs
know, like
too.
I like when I take a shower, I come into my room, I lock the door and I change.
Hmm.
That is something that we did back home that my father taught us since we were little. So
Hmm.
what my daughters did, same thing. They will take a shower, wrap themselves in the ropes, come straight into the room and change. Lock it. Because it's a safety measure. You're in there, you know,
Exactly.
like the way you came into this world. You have to have that privacy. When they were taking showers, same thing. Lock the door. You know what I mean? Because you don't want people coming in and finding you in the shower in less than perfect conditions. So
Hmm.
those are things that I passed on to my children. Now, where they pass it on to theirs, who knows? But those are things that I did growing up. And I always make sure that, my kids knew that growing up. The last thing I wanted in on me while I was changing. Like, that
Yeah.
would be so embarrassing. So
And,
I
and
always make sure.
yes, and it's up to the parents to teach the children that.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Something that we always, even the smallest of little quirks, because for me, I always of okay, I am the parent, right? I want to send productive humans to the
Yep.
world. I don't want to send someone that is going to be somebody else's burden.
The
My
word.
children, in my mind, I always thought they're going to get married one day. So, what best way for them to know, boys and girls, how to cook,
Clean.
how to clean, how to do laundry?
Yep.
So they don't depend on that person. Now, if your wife says, honey, no, from now on, I do the laundry,
Right.
that's between you two. If your husband, my daughters, when they get married, they say, "No, honey, from now on, I do laundry, you do the rest of the house or whatever,"
Right.
then that's between them. But my children will know that they're supposed to have a hamper where they put their clothes in. That's the
Hmm.
minute they take it off. There's no socks everywhere. You know what I mean? And those are habits that as a parent, sometimes children, they dislike you for it because you're
Yeah.
constantly saying, pick up your room, pick up those clothes. Why
I
did you
heard
leave the
that, Miss
towel there?
Nexie.
That towel, this is the third time this week that towel has been in the bathroom on the floor wet. Do you want me to put it on your bed so that when you go to bed at night? Ask my
Oh,
kids how many times they found wet towels in their beds in the winter time.
Miss Nexie. I learned a valuable lesson from my parents when I was growing up. Oh man, that hurt so bad. I cried for weeks. You know your favorite clothes, you drop it on the ground when you're a kid. And my mom was
Hmm.
always saying, pick up your stuff off the ground. Pick up your stuff off the ground. And I guess she had enough of me. And it's your favorite jeans, shirt,
Yep.
everything is on the ground.
Because they fit
So
perfect according to you.
yeah, they fit perfect. So when I came home and I'm tearing up the place looking, I was like, where's my top? Where's my jeans? Mom said, oh, it was on the floor, so I threw it in the garbage. You threw it in the garbage? And she said, oh, don't even bother to look. They already took the garbage.
Yeah.
I cried and I cried. And she says, next time when I tell you pick up your clothes off the ground, are you going to pick them up? You think my clothes ever touch the ground ever again?
You're
I
like, don't
learned.
talk to
I
me about.
learned that day. I
Did you
learned.
tell her this is not a teachable moment, woman?
Yeah, and I was like, how could you? I was like, you're the worst parent ever. You threw in my favorite top. What am I gonna wear? Yeah, but I learned.
But you had a closet full of clothes, right?
Oh, I
But
had
you
a
didn't
closet
know what
full
you
of
were
clothes,
gonna wear.
but my favorite, it's your favorite clothes. You abuse them, and
Yeah,
my
my
mom's like,
son.
I'm telling you, I'm not telling you one more time. This is you. And she told me, she's like, final warning. And I was like, final warning. And I still dropped it on the ground and went to school. When I came home, oh, the tears I cried. Girl,
You know,
it's
I can tell
exhausting.
you, Marlene, for from experience raising boys and girls, I
Yeah.
my sons are great. My sons, you tell them once, a couple of times. Normally they're very neat. They like to keep their things organized. But the girls, oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's the girls. It's the girls.
So
Yeah,
when
it's the
people will
girls.
ask, do you have children? Yes, I do. Two headaches and two boys.
Hey, wait a minute, Miss Nixon. That's what my mom said about me.
Again, two headaches
How
and
rude.
two boys. But the thing is with my daughters, the funny thing is that I will tell them, you know what? You know how you do the spring clean, right? You take
Mhm.
everything out of the room, your drawers, you clean them up, you clean everything. You do the daily things, but you got to
Mhm.
teach them also that they have to be a spring cleaning because the house gets dusty and the places that you
Yeah.
don't see, you don't open. Your closet, it gets full of dust when you're just throwing
A-
shoes in there without it.
and Miss Nixie, you have to also teach them about you don't have to keep everything. Learn to get rid of
Yes.
stuff. All of it. I
Uh,
used. Oh my God, Miss Nixie. I don't know. Us Caribbean people know about when it was the spring cleaning and you had to clean everything top to bottom, wash windows.
yes.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. But
it
you
was
know
more
what?
than just clean out your closet.
You
Uh,
will end up sore for
you will be sore
days
because you have to
because you
wash
move
all
furniture.
everything. You have to wash everything in the china cabinet.
Yep.
The fridge was defrosted. Oh,
Yep. You had to remember you had to move the fridge so you can broom underneath. You had to move the stove so you can broom.
yes,
And
yes.
you had to
Hmm.
degrease the area because it was so greasy throughout the year. So
Yeah.
I used to tell my children, my daughters, clean your room. We're gonna do spring cleaning. Oh my mom, there she goes. With that. They
Yeah.
didn't say
Oh,
that, but
she's
in
so.
their head,
Yeah, I used to say she's so intolerable.
I hate doing that. So I will tell them, clean your room. You haven't done it. You haven't done it. So almost the end of the spring cleaning month came, and I had said the entire month, your room. Yeah, we'll do it this weekend, mom. Weekend came and went, nothing. Your room. We'll do it this weekend, mom. We just couldn't last weekend, but we'll do it. I promise you. So
Mhm.
almost towards the end, I said, "Oh, okay, they still not done." On Monday morning, I will grab before I went to work. I grabbed the pillows, put them on a. I put a sheet on the floor, put the pillows all the way in the bottom. Then I grabbed the blankets, put them on top of the pillows. Then I grabbed the little stuffed animals, put it on top of that. Then I took everything out of their closets, piled it on top. So before they could go to bed and get their linen, oh, and I took all the linens out so that they couldn't find new ones. I put everything in the middle of the room, including the mattresses. So before they could go to bed, they had to
They
clean and
had
put.
to.
They were crying, and I felt bad. I was like, "Why did I do that?" But I was so fed up, Marlene, with telling them, and
Mm.
then after they were done, oh, because they would come out of the room and eye me, give me that dirty eye, the side eye, not
Mhm.
speaking to mom. And I was laughing because I was like, okay, they're mad. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna let them vent that
Good.
out.
Oh well. Move on.
Like in the first hour, it was like that. The second hour, they were cracking up, cleaning, throwing this. Oh, I don't want this anymore. Oh my god, this is too small. I was like, I thought they were
Yeah.
mad.
And in the end, you do appreciate your parents for doing
Yes.
things. But you know what? I just wish that, back in the day, parents would have said, I'm teaching you this so you can learn about organization. Like, I didn't understand. It's like, I just thought, like, my mom would just come and take everything off the hangers. I was like,
Yes.
why did you do that? Everything was hung up. She's like, well, clean it up now. I was like, but it was clean.
I was kind enough to leave him on the hangers, okay?
No,
The
no,
only
my
thing I
mom, when she got
did,
fed up of us, she took
the
and she
only
would keep
thing I
all the
did
hangers. Yep.
was leave all of the
Nope.
blankets and the pillows all the way at the bottom. So before they could get to rest in their beautiful beds, they had to put everything away.
See,
Like
you are
on
nice.
11.
You put it on pillows and anything. My mom would just take everything, just pull everything off the hangers and drop it on the floor and leave. I guess my mom was a gangster.
He was a gangster. No, but they were upset. Oh my god! And I said, "Well, next time, no, we'll clean it, mom." Guess what? The next spring clean, I had to say nothing. When I
Mhm.
said we're gonna spring clean this weekend, it was done that weekend because they remembered that, hey, this time my mom is not gonna put up with it, right? My
Yeah,
mom is not just gonna do the same thing she did last time. Nope.
yeah,
And but now they are very clean people. They keep their
yes.
houses clean, they keep everything
Mhm.
organized. My daughter has a
Organized.
baby,
Mhm.
everything is in order. She keeps the rooms clean and everything. It's something that you have to
Exactly.
teach them
See,
because, again, I wasn't their best friend, I was their mom. My job was to
yep.
teach them.
Yeah. And my mom used to smile so big when she would come, like when we all got older and she would come to our house. My mom would come in like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I used to be like, what is she talking about? Because she would look and be like, neat. And she would be looking at stuff like, uh-huh. I raised yep, this one.
And
He passed
Robert,
the test. Yep.
look at what Robert said, and
Oh,
that is so true.
yeah, Robert says they were teaching us to listen and follow orders and follow through a
A
project.
project,
But we
exactly.
didn't know that though.
Of
I was
course
like, why
not.
couldn't they just tell us? I'm teaching you organization, but they were like, I don't gotta tell you nothing. You do what I say.
No, because if they would have said, "I'm teaching organization for what?" Oh my God, I don't need that right now. So instead of going through all of that, you do the hard way. I used to say, you know what? I'm going to teach them by doing it myself. I'm going to teach them, well, look, this is what I do in my bedroom, whatever. But that didn't teach them anything because that was my bedroom I was doing. They were just sitting there talking to me and I was cleaning, right? And see what I'm
Mhm,
doing? That doesn't mean they're going to do the same thing if you tell them.
mhm.
Now, it is painful to go through that and having to tell people, little people, 100 times a day certain things,
It
teaching
is.
them for years a certain thing. But the reward you get when they get older and they are
Yes,
productive members of society, that
yes.
is your reward as a parent.
It's
All
it's
those
it's a reward.
talks.
It's Miss Nexie, it's a reward. You feel good, and like I can say that even though I used to be like, my mom is so annoying, but now that my parents are no longer alive, those are the skills that is keeping me now. Having a hard work ethic, keeping your word, being organized. Be a woman of your word, do the right thing, learn to apologize, but I didn't understand at that time. I was learning those things like make eye contact when you talk to people. That's one of the things, like Miss Nexie, like I guess maybe because of my age now, I hate when somebody's talking to me and they're looking down or they're on their phone or they're writing or something like, can you look at me, please?
Mm,
I don't know. Maybe it's a control thing or I don't know, but I don't like when somebody is talking to me and
uh,
they're not. You know what I mean?
what about, you're asking about their availability to work,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
to my messages. I don't even deal with that. It's not even set up. So just text me
Yeah,
or email me. And it's like, why not just answer your phone?
exactly.
Like, what's the big deal? Just answer your phone. Like, why do I need to be texting you? This is a job. I'm not your
Yeah,
friend. But now everything is just text, just this, just that. It's no longer a conversation I can have with you over the phone because they don't pick up.
exactly. Thank you, Miss Nexie, for the memberships.
Ah, you're welcome, Miss Marlene.
Thank
You
you.
are very, very welcome.
Yeah.
But again, it's something that is, you know, um,
Uh, okay.
trying to criticize or disrespect anyone. We're doing this because of what we're seeing, fear that we have for the future generations. I I have a granddaughter.
Mhm.
She's how old is she? She's 7.
7 months, 8 months. Yeah. Mhm. 8 months now. Yeah.
thing I love is that my kids grew up, even though they were in the 90s, there were restrictions. You don't have your phone for everything you do. You know, when we were eating on our table, put your phone away. There was a little basket where you put your phone away. You don't use that on the table. We're sitting to eat and talk. You
Yeah.
know, I go with my daughter somewhere, we talk. We're the only ones in the restaurant, you know, chop, 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 the whole time. But I'm glad that that is the case because hopefully that will be passed on to my granddaughter,
Yeah.
that she can talk to her mom. She doesn't have to be on a device. She
And
will have that
and
connection.
watch, your daughter is going to be saying to her daughter, "Get off your phone while we're eating." Because
She'll probably be,
I even catch myself saying that, like, to my nieces, my nephews, like, No, not at the table. Put that away." Like, no.
but they'll know that with Auntie Marlene, you can't do that. And that's the whole thing is my nieces and
Respectful.
nephews, they knew who they could get away with certain things. Even them, like if I would keep them in my house, funny thing, Marlene, when I used to keep my little nieces and nephews, every morning, 2 to 3 days they were with me. Good morning, Auntie. Good morning, baby. Brush your teeth. Done. Brush your face. Did you wash your face? Done.
Hmm.
Okay, good. Now everybody sits down. We're gonna eat breakfast, and then you guys can go into the pool,
See
whatever you're gonna do, whatever.
that
But they went back home.
rules.
Guess what? They went back home.
It
They
all went
did that.
away.
All went away. It was only when they were with me that that behavior continued. And I used to tell, my in-laws, that's your problem. Well, I can't change that. Yes, you can. They
It,
still young enough that they can still learn.
Miss Nexie, I'm going to tell you something about parenting. When it comes to parenting, you know what is difficult? When you're
Mm.
tired to still force your children to do the right thing.
Hmm.
I remember, like, my mom. My mom. Oh, I'm gonna tell you something that's funny. My mom used to say, what word I hate in this entire world? Mom.
I
My mother used to say, she's like, call your dad, call your brother, call your sister, but don't call mom.
I
I was like, nope,
I
mom.
my daughter will always say, I can't wait until I move out of
Oh
this
boy.
jail cell. Okay. Okay. On her birthday, I gave her a nice surprise. But
Mm,
I can't wait until move out. I can't wait until I'm 18. I can And then 18 comes and they go to college to get enrolled and they're waiting for mommy to do everything. And the person in the college tells them, no, you're the one that is responsible for what? I'm
yeah.
supposed what about my mom? Yep, you're 18.
Hmm.
She's no longer
Yep. She's no
you're no
longer
longer her
responsible.
responsibility. So you're the one who's supposed to fill out all these forms and pay these fees. And they're looking at me like,
Yep.
what?
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome
You
to
wanted
being
to be
grown.
18, right? Good luck with that one. Bye,
Yeah.
baby.
Oh, see, Miss Nexie, I never had that problem. Like, I used to hear because I'm the last of 10. I used to hear my brothers and sisters all the time. Oh, I can't wait to be grown. And I used to scream at the top of my voice, not me. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. You can't get rid of me. You're gonna have to push me out the door and lock it. I'm not going nowhere. Mm-mm.
My son, he was probably like 4 or 5. He would say, I hate you. And I would say, I hate you too, baby, but unfortunately we only have one house and we both need to live in the same household, so let's continue hating each other, but you're gonna do as I say.
Oh,
And then he'll come back, I'm sorry, mom, I'm sorry I said I hate you. I really don't
oh,
hate you. I really don't. I said, honey, I'm sorry I cannot tell you the same thing. You hate.
yep. I wonder. This is something that I wonder if this is just a old school thing, but me and Robert, we both. That's a touch and agree. Robert, don't call me by my first name when you're a
Nope.
little kid. Oh,
Mm-mm.
Miss Nexie. I'm so triggered by this.
Yep.
Little kids up there calling me Marlene. Mm-mm. I was like, look, I'd be like, little boy, if you, little girl, if you don't, oh,
Marlene, I'm the
No.
last of 6 kids in my mom and dad's marriage. I have, uh,
Mm.
I have, thank God, gained 3 little sisters after they got divorced, right?
Mhm.
But let me tell you something. My nieces and nephews, because I'm the last of 6, I have nieces and nephews that are very close to my age. But
Okay.
Marlene, my nieces and nephews, they call me auntie. Auntie Nexie. Since they were little, we
Yeah.
were pretty much the same, like 4 years apart, 5 years apart. They call me Auntie Nexie. They don't call me, hey Nexie, how's it going, Nexie? Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Hey
Better
Auntie,
not.
hi Aunt. And they're grown. They're
I don't
grown
care. I don't care if
children.
you're grown. I tell my
And they call me Auntie.
I
I'm not
even
their equal, even though I am they're pretty close to their age. I'm their aunt. And they
listen,
but
listen,
I
Miss
credit my sisters for this.
listen, Miss Nexie. When my nieces and nephews when they got older, I remember one time I think he was like 18, 19 years old. And one day he just came into the room. He says, "Hi, Marlene."
Did you turn into your mom?
I I was like, I was looking at something. I was like, nothing was near me. I was gonna throw something at him, but there was nothing I could. I said, "Boy, you better be glad I don't have a shoe or something." Because I said, "Boy, if you don't," and he was like, "What?" He's like, "I'm grown now." I said, "You may be 18, but you're still a little boy to me. It's always gonna be Auntie." And he was like,
Yep,
"Well, Auntie Marlene." I was like, "And don't forget it." I
exactly. And the thing
was like,
is,
"Boy, talk
my
about hi,
nieces have
Marlene."
children, and they call me auntie too. It's a form of
No,
respect.
no, no, no.
It's something that I feel that we're
Mm-mm.
losing because
Well,
I
well,
have seen so many kids, Marlene, call their aunts and their uncles by their name, by their first name. Hey Bob, mom is calling you.
hmm,
Hey Tom, mom is calling you. Hey so and so, mom wants you.
but guess what, Nexie? Where does that come from? That comes from
Parents.
the parents. I remember when,
Exactly.
listen, when I was growing up, I'm going to tell you something that may seem weird to the younger generation. When I was younger, I thought all my mom's friends were my actual aunties.
Yeah, we thought that too. That's
I
a
thought,
Caribbean thing.
and until one day I found out that they were my mom's friends, and I was like, "So why did you have me thinking they were my aunties?" She said, "Well, you weren't going to call them Norma or Jean, so you called them auntie."
So they're not your sisters?
I was like, "So I all these years I said I thought that was my actual blood auntie." She said, "No." I was like, "Oh my god."
I
I'm
was
telling you, that's why
wondering
I'm
why.
messed up in my head because of my
Yeah,
parenting.
Marlene, you were like, I was wondering when my dad went to Mexico or to the
And that's
Caribbean.
what I was like. That answers it because I was like, when did Grandpa and Grandma but and they don't really look alike. And I was like, oh, uh, I, and my mom's like, don't, yeah, mm-mm, no,
Don't go there.
yeah,
Don't go there.
yeah. My mom was looking at me like, well, I don't understand why you need to figure it out. That's what I told you, and that's what it is. You know how? Yeah,
Yes,
that's what it is.
ma'am.
That's your problem if you don't get it.
But Marlene, it's with that sometimes with that form of parenting too, right? When they're like, "Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out later." Sometimes we get into trouble because they don't want to talk to us about it,
Yep,
and we
and that's
ask the
not
wrong
good.
person. Yeah,
That's not good.
we
That's
ask
not
the
good.
wrong person, and we take advice from the wrong person, which is why I'm telling you it is very difficult. And I'm gonna say something here that it's not. I'm not saying the name of who of my children was that asked me, but
Mhm.
this young one came over and said, "You know what? I would like to go see a doctor, a
Mhm.
female doctor,
Okay.
because I want protection." Marlene, yeah, no, oh, my heart.
Nexie,
Yeah,
hold
that's what
on.
I did. That's what I did, but in my
Nexie,
mind.
I'm about to slip down my chair.
That's what
I'm
I did in
gone.
my mind.
Bye, guys. See you guys next sip and chat.
That's what I did in my mind. My heart came out of my.
Miss Nexie, tell me again. They did not
I
ask.
I looked I you know I looked at this
Mm,
19-year-old, which to me was still
nope.
4 years old, asking
Mm,
me to play dolls with her and
no, they did
tea
not.
time. And
No.
but what I liked about that is that she had the courage to say, I need someone. I don't mean I want you to do it, or I want to talk to someone about that. It's not that I'm
Woo!
doing it, it's not that I'm anything, it's just that I want to know. And I said, you know what? As a
If you,
healthcare worker, I'm about to throw up. I'll see you in like 10 years from now when we can talk about this.
Miss Nexie, I still can't get over what they asked you.
But yes, so my
I'm
but
sick.
what I had to do is keep my cool, because if I would have said, what in the world, what is wrong with you, what kind of
Yeah,
question is that,
react how
or
your parents would have
react,
reacted. Yeah.
exactly, I would have never dared to say that ever,
Mhm.
you know when and I said, oh, okay, we can do that. If let me find you someone, and that you can talk to. My heart was beating so fast, Marlene, I felt like
Oh,
sick to my stomach.
Nexie, I think
I
I would
felt
have
like,
threw up first.
oh, I wanted to, I just had
Yeah.
to keep my cool, because your reaction can be the catalyst for them
Hmm.
not to ever come to you for anything. So
Yeah.
you have to keep your cool no matter what. I
Hmm.
had a teacher that always said that no question is a dumb question.
I know,
A
but
not asked question is a dumb question, right? Because you didn't ask it.
I know, Miss
So,
Nexie, but
but
at the same time, that's still your babies.
yes, no, no, she was still 4 years old to me. She's
Yeah,
still 4 years old to
yeah,
me.
and pigtails. Yeah.
So I took it, you know what, let me see what I can do. Even though I did roll out of my body, I don't even know I don't even know exactly what I said afterwards or what color my face was. Only when I turned to go to my room, my husband says, are you feeling okay? You look great. I said, I just been shot. I didn't say
Yeah, I
anything
gotta go
to
lay down.
I said, I have to be alone for a few minutes. I said, let me go make some phone calls. Okay, mom. But the thing is that she was looking at me
Yeah,
straight to
to
me,
see
like
how you
saying,
were
let me see
gonna
how she,
react.
exactly. So I said, give me a minute. And then I found a friend of mine who is an amazing,
Hmm.
gynecologist and obstetrician. And I said, you know what? This is happening. And she started laughing. She's like, oh, you got that one? She's like, you guys have an amazing relationship. Most of the patients I get, the mothers don't even know they're here. And they're 13 and 14 years old.
Miss Nexie, that was me. That was
So
me.
I said, so she's already driving at this point, right? She's already, going to college, having her car, whatever. Do you want me to
Mhm.
go with you? Mom, that would be embarrassing. No, I'll go in
Mm.
by myself. I said,
Mhm.
okay, then you're driving. No, I mean, come with me, but don't go in the room. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to? Yeah, but don't go in the room with me. I want to be
Yeah,
there alone.
they want what they want, but you have to like the thing about when kids get older, because I'm the same way because I help raise my nieces and nephews. So it's like they want you there, but don't you can't come in the room and don't say
Yes.
anything. Don't ask
Yeah.
no
Oh
questions.
my
I
God, you're
just
so
need you
embarrassing.
here, and that's it.
Yes.
No, no, no. And for my niece, I just need you to pay. That's it.
Yes. No, no. Mine is like, I just need you for emotional support. And I will say, so I'm not like a pet? Yeah, without the tail wagging. You're
you're the
just like,
support. You're the emotional support pet.
so we went there and she went inside, and my heart the whole time I was so embarrassed, because it's not something that I have had this relationship with my sisters, right, where I
Hmm.
can go ask them whatever, but I didn't have a mother growing up. So
Yeah,
I don't know, Marlene, how a mother is supposed to behave or
exactly.
react. So I didn't have that growing up. So I didn't know. So I was like, okay, I didn't know it was such a milestone for us.
Yeah,
That
that's a big
from
deal.
then on, yeah, it's a huge deal. And I love the fact that she came to me for that,
Woo.
because as embarrassing as it was, as heartbreaking as it was, because that's your baby. She
Mhm.
came to me for that. And then my friend, when she was done, I said, I'll call you. She's like, don't even bother. I'm not telling you anything. I was like, I'm not going to call you for that. Then why are you calling me for? You never called me.
Yeah.
So
But
I never knew what happened.
congratulations on that, because that meant that you are a good mom. That
I
meant you were
hope
a good
so.
mom. That
I
meant
hope
you were
so.
a good mom.
That was 15 or 16 years ago. But let me tell you, Marlene, right now talking about it, I can still feel that heartbeat. Like my heart was beating
Yep.
so fast right now because
Yep.
it
I
was
remember
so
I remember
shocking.
when I was 16, and I'm Miss Nexie, I'm telling you, I paced the floor, I sweat, I mean, and I remember telling my dad I was going to tell him that day I was 16, I was going to tell him I have a boyfriend.
You have a friend, you mean? There's no boy in front of a friend, okay?
And I remember when I told my dad just very calmly, gets up and he goes, I don't know where he went, outside or something, and he came back with, you know what, all Jamaicans have a cutlass, and he was like, give me his phone number. I ran out of the room, and that was the end of it.
You know what we had,
I
Marlene?
was like,
You know what we
boyfriend.
had growing up with my sisters? The boys will come up, right? Hi, and we'll talk for one day, and we're gonna meet the next day, and then they didn't show up, and then when they saw us next time, they would run away from us because my brothers had already gotten to them, so we
See,
didn't.
but and my brother and I didn't. My dad didn't even have to worry about it, because my dad was like, "Oh, I'm getting machete, and I'm gonna follow you to school. You're gonna wear turtlenecks, and you're gonna wear pants for the rest until you turn 25." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then, of course, when my dad tells my brothers, that was the end of it. You know, those of you who
No
have
more
brothers
boyfriend.
already know. My brother's like, "Oh, don't worry, Dad. We'll take care of it."
No, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is like we were just that one day or two before anyone found out, and then the boys will see us and change to the other side of the street, and we're like, hi. They wouldn't answer us back, and we're like, what the,
Yeah,
we found out
I thought you
years
liked
later.
me. And they're like, I was like, I don't like you. I don't like you.
as,
Stay
as,
away
as,
from me.
as i
Don't even
grew
talk
up
to me.
as I grew up and Facebook came along, so many of the boys that used to like us, I would say, you know what? They would say, hi, how you doing? I was like, why are you talking to me now? I thought, back then, he's like, your brothers.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? Your brothers
yeah.
came over, and
Your brother.
I started finding out things like what they will do to these poor boys. So my
Mhm.
sisters and I really didn't have that
Yeah,
dating
you have no,
experience.
you have
We
no opportunities. Yep, yep. No
When you
opportunity.
come from a big family, there's no such a thing as secrecy,
There's no
or getting
secrets.
away with things, or you know what, I'm gonna make
Nope.
plans because they got the
They
entire
will find
country
out.
covered.
They will find out
Not even the
everything.
state, the
and,
country.
and then on top of that, Miss Nexie, growing up in back how it was back in the day, it didn't have to be your brothers or your sisters. People in the community were like your aunties and uncles too. So
Yes.
they would get somewhere, they would see you somewhere, and then before you even got home, your neighbors already said, "Oh, I saw your daughter. I saw your daughter, and she was out. I saw her with some little boy, little chicken head boy." So they would already,
Marlene, did I tell you that first time
you were finished.
I tried to ditch school? We had made plans with some friends here, right? It was my first year in this country. I was mesmerized with everything. So I made some friends in high school, and they were like, "Hey, let's
Mm.
ditch school today. Let's go to the
Uh
beach." And I was
oh.
like, "Oh, cool!" So I got a bathing suit, and I put it underneath my school clothes, and I had my backpack, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to school. So we ditched and we got on the bus. And who do I see right in the middle of the bus staring at me? My cousin. She looked at me. She's like looking at her watch. She was like, huh, I knew there was something for me to do because I woke up late. I was running late for everything. And look at you. Here you are. Okay, I'm not gonna go to work. She had to get off, get on a payphone, call her job, and tell them she wasn't coming. She grabbed me, took me back home to
Mm,
tell
mm,
my
mm,
mother what we had done because I was still
mm,
living in that house.
mm, mm,
And
mm, mm, mm.
I had to go back to school. I was in detention for like 2 weeks or something like that. And from then on,
See,
Marlene, that was the first and last time I ever did something so daring.
Miss Nixie, you didn't get to live out your dreams. I got to live out my dreams. I skipped school. I took the bus. I went, and let me tell you, this is will age me and everything, but I don't care. I took the bus, went to the movies, and that's when Batman came out. Okay. I was like, I'm not waiting for
Oh,
the weekend. I'm going to see Batman today on opening day. So I took the
ah.
bus. I mean, I was having my best time. You know, popcorn, everything was so cheap. I'm like, I'm eating popcorn. Yeah, Batman. As soon as I come out of the movies, who do I see?
Who did you see?
My auntie, my mom's best friend.
Oh,
And you know how
God.
they do the who
Yeah.
do we have here at the mall in the middle of the day? And right to the payphone. Oh, I have your daughter. I have your daughter right here. Don't worry. Don't worry, sister. I'm bringing her home. Oh,
Get your belt ready because she's about to walk in the door.
I was like, I couldn't even finish my day. I was supposed to, I had my plan. I was going to Wendy's after. Plan
Oh,
ruined.
with the date? Oh, no.
I was
Oh.
supposed to meet up with somebody from school, and we were gonna go to Wendy's. And you know how they used to have the menu where I
That's
get a
special.
salad, you
Yeah.
get this, and we all would trade. And
Hey, we're telling our ages.
plans were ruined, Miss Nexie. I was like, I was just trying to go and get a double stack.
Oh, no. But guess what?
No double
That
stack
made
for
us
me.
who we are today.
No double stack. I was like, oh,
Oh,
it was
you
like
got a double stack, but it wasn't what
oh,
you
I got a double
expected.
stack. Trust me.
I got home and my mom is sitting there looking at me. So you're grown now. And I
Mm,
don't know her because again, I didn't grow up with her, right? So she's like,
mm,
"Oh, so
mm,
you're
mm.
grown now, huh? Okay, I have a task for you." She had on this in the middle of the table, she had mixed up like 3 pounds of beans with like 3 pounds of rice, and I had to separate each and every one of them, put
Oh,
them on little containers. Oh, and don't worry, I got other things mixed up that you need to separate. And guess what? Now I have someone that is gonna clean my entire kitchen because somebody's grown. I was in consideration of this child, but since
mm,
she's
mm,
now
mm.
able to go to the beach on her own, she's grown. I don't have to. Oh, and guess what? You have to find a way to buy your own clothes because so I got that over it first
Oh,
and last time.
oh,
Never
Miss
again.
Nexie, that's what. Listen, what my punishment was. Since my mom said, "Since you're grown," mom said, "Good. I'm glad we got another grown person in here." So for a whole month, my mom and dad didn't go to the. I had to go on a bike, ride my bike to the store, get groceries, bring them home, and that's not it. And then go back again because you can't carry everything on a bike. And she said, "You're grown. Figure it out."
Yeah. Did you ever go back alone? No way. I didn't even get to enjoy. You enjoyed the movie. I didn't even
Oh,
get to enjoy the beach.
next thing I was at the movies. I was like, "Why, Batman?" I was having my bet. That was I do it all over again. I'm sorry, mom. I do it all over again. Best time of my life. Popcorn was good. I was eating candy, and I come out like, yes, Batman was amazing. Now let's go and have Wendy's. And right, I look up. There's my auntie. I was like,
But you know what, Marlene?
dang it, dang it, dang it.
Kids nowadays, they don't get that. They
Hmm.
just get, yeah, sure, go ahead. They don't get who you're going with, who lives in the
Mhm.
household. How many? What kind of friend is this? Let me meet her first.
Oh
Let
no,
me
no,
meet him
no,
first.
Miss Nexie. Let's pause on something. My mother, Caribbean parents do not let kids sleep
Robert,
over.
look at
Let's
Robert.
make that clear because I'm telling you, lightning would strike me. Me? I never got. I don't know what it's like to sleep over. What? No, ma'am. Mm-mm. No. Caribbean moms are like, sleep over who? She said, why would you sleep at somebody's house and you have a bed? No.
No, my dad. We're gonna have a sleepover. Oh, really? You want to sleep over? Okay, you can sleep over here now, and your sister can sleep over there. We weren't allowed to sleep over, Miss Marlene. Oh, you want to sleep over? Over where? My friends got. Oh, you want to sleep? Oh, you want to experience what sleepover? Okay, you can sleep over here, and your sister's gonna sleep over there.
Yep. Oh, you know what my mom would say when I want to do a sleepover? My mom said, good. And my mom took a whole bunch of sheets and stuff and said, you could sleep in the living room and then your other sisters could sleep in the bedroom. See, you have fun. Sleep over in here and your
Yeah,
sisters can sleep in there.
that's
And I was like,
exactly what my.
no, with my friends. And laughing. And she said, y'all kids ain't gonna keep me up all night laughing. Nope. That's forget that.
I
Cancel
told you,
those
like
plans.
my daughters, they never. I think the only one that went is the youngest one. She wanted to do a sleepover at 16 years old. Okay,
Mm.
with her best friend Marlene. She was on the phone the whole time at 11. Mama, you sleep? No, but you should. Well, I was about to. We're getting comfortable. We're watching a movie. Okay, is your friend sleep? Yeah, she's falling asleep already. Okay, maybe you should too. Oh, okay. Are you going to bed now? Yes, I am. And I'm talking 6 blocks away from the house.
Mm.
12:30. Mom, are you
Yeah.
still awake? Yes, I am. But why are you? Oh, no, I just wanted to check. I didn't know if you were going to be able to sleep with me not being there, Mom. Oh, I wasn't able to. I was just wondering. Then, want something? Mom, are you asleep? Mom, I'm
Oh
still
my
awake.
goodness.
I had
Poor
to pick her up at
thing.
6 in the morning. At 6, she's like, Mom, can you come pick me up?
She
Like,
was miserable there.
never again. She never
Oh,
again.
okay. Miss Nexie, guess what? I have to say this as a secret. Even though my mom is not alive anymore, I can't, as an adult, I still can't say it. I still got to whisper it. But when my mom was working late, my dad let me go to a sleepover. My mother never knew.
Oh.
Shh.
We're
Cross
not
your
gonna
heart.
tell.
Cross your heart and
Mom's
hope
the
to die.
word.
Yeah.
Mom's the word.
Yeah.
I'm
But guess
not
what?
saying
Guess
anything.
what, Nexie? It was not a it was terrible.
That's what my daughter said.
Listen, it was in some girl's house in the hood. No,
Yeah,
no.
she was on
And,
the phone the
and,
whole
and
time.
like and it was noisy and people are in
Yep.
and out, people are outside smoking and drinking and dancing. I was like, I want my mommy.
And there were no cell phones back then that you
there
could
was
call
there
dad
was
or
no
anything.
Oh, and listen, Miss Nexie, guess what makes it worse? That's why I had to learn a lesson. They didn't have a house phone.
Oh my lord. I was gonna say that the house phone was in the living room, so you couldn't really go and use it because you're in the bedroom.
Miss
Oh my
Nexie, did I tell
god.
you I went to a sleepover in the hood
Oh my
and
god.
they didn't have a phone? And I tell you, listen, that was a lesson. I feel that God humbled me. Yep. He was like, oh, you want to go to a sleepover? go, go ahead. Go ahead. You
Yeah.
see, you sneaking out. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. You gonna learn today, little girl. I learned. I
Yep.
was like, I
No.
was like, and when people would talk about sleepover, I would start crying. No, I don't want to go. No, no sleepover, please.
Remember when the cell phones, the Virgin Mobiles, the ones that used to have to put minutes in, whatever? Well, my kids had those, right? And my daughter took her cell phone and she's texting me, like calling me because there was no texting. She's calling me, Mommy, you asleep? I was about to, baby. You can't sleep? No, yeah, I can. I was just wondering if you could. Yeah, I can. Okay, then use your minutes. Bye. Bye, Mom. And then another hour. Mom, you're still awake.
Oh man.
and
See,
it's 6 in the
but the
morning?
whole thing about it, Miss Nexie, is that at least they could call you. I suffered all night, Miss Nexie. I'm telling you, I
Oh
didn't
my
wink my
god.
eyes because I wasn't. Even though I come from a big family, I'm used to noises. But like at a certain point, it was like everybody would go to bed, you know,
Yes.
and then it got quiet.
Yes.
But where I was, it was like 11 o'clock, and you hear the door opens, the door, and I'm like, "Who's that? Who's coming in?" And then like somebody's outside and they're talking. People are. It wasn't anything like it was a bad environment, but I wasn't used to people being outside talking all night and drinking
Because it's
and
not done in our neighborhoods.
and playing music. And I was like, what? I was like, what is that? And I was like, music. I was like, what
And you're
time is it? I was like, it's still dark outside. Why are they playing music? Like I didn't get it.
did
I
you sleep
wasn't
at
used to
all?
that environment.
Did you sleep at all?
Nothing. And when my dad, I remember it was like, dad's was like, I'll pick you up at 7. Oh my God. 6:30. I was by the window waiting. I was like, my dad's coming. I was like, where is my
Remember
dad?
what the experience I told you my daughter and I had when that lady dropped off her granddaughter? She dropped off her my daughter had invited a friend.
Mm-mm-mm.
You know how you say, maybe you come and have a sleepover in my house one day? Well, that's what my daughter said. So the little girl told her grandmother that my daughter had invited her. The lady didn't even bother to know who I was.
Wait a
All
minute,
she
Miss
knew
Nexie.
was where my daughter
Wait,
lived because they went
wait.
to
Miss Nexie, you're saying your daughter says, let's have a sleepover, and this
Mhm.
little girl just comes over?
Her grandma dropped her off and left. She didn't even come to the door. She just opened the car door. The little girl got out. She came to my door. I thought she was like a Girl Scout, selling like Girl Scout cookies. So I was like, "Oh, how cute! You're selling cookies." She's like, "Oh no, I'm here to for a sleepover with your daughter." And I didn't even know this little girl. And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Who are you?" She's like, "Oh, I'm so and so." A sleepover? I said, "I'm sorry, I don't know anything about it. Let me ask my daughter." And I went, she says, "Oh, I told her that one day we should have a sleepover." I go, "Well, she's here now." She's like, "What?" She's like 6 years old. Six, no, no, 7. They were 7 years old because
She
they
said,
were in first grade.
your daughter said one day, she said today.
Yes. And she's here. I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, that is so cool." I said, "No, no, 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 no. Come here, little girl. What do you mean this is so cool? Did you tell her that it was today?" She's like, "No, I said one day maybe we should have a sleepover." I said, "Well, this little girl's here now." So I asked her, "Do you know your grandmother's phone numbers, sweetie?" Because she's 7 years old. She's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I have it in a book. I have it here in a book." I said, "Can I have it? Because I need to talk to your grandmother."
Hmm.
And remember, there were no cell phones back
No.
then. So I had no cell phone. I called the house. The lady doesn't pick up. Then I call again, and somebody answers. And I said, "Listen, this is late at night. I have a little girl here that they dropped off that I have no idea who her parents are." So she was
Mm.
dropped off. I only know her name, first name. I have no idea where she lives or anything. I said, "Can you please have her mother, whoever it is, call me back because she needs to come pick her up." I already had plans for this weekend. We were leaving the following day that we had to cancel our plans, Marlene, because the lady took off to Vegas for the weekend.
No.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She took off for 2 days. She dropped her off on a
No,
Friday.
she did not.
She did. I swear to God, Marlene. I swear to God. My right hand is up. I swear to God. And my hand is on my chest right now. She took off. I had the little girl in the house for 2 days. She called me and said, "Oh, we took off. But she said it was a sleepover." I said, "Yes, ma'am, it's a sleepover. I don't even know why she's here." I had no idea. She's like, "Well, she said that it was today, and we needed because we had plans." And I said, "So did I, and I don't even know you. And how dare you drop off this child without even knowing me?"
Right.
Yep. So I had
And
that
and
experience.
they weren't like, they didn't think anything was wrong with that. They didn't think that was like morally wrong to just
Nope.
drop off your kid at a stranger's house.
Nope. The
Because
grandma.
one thing I will say, even though my dad brought me without my mom knowing, my dad was like, "Oh, who is it? And I was like, this girl said, oh, because he knew, like we were in the
Mhm.
same circle of people. He's like, oh, okay. So her mom and then my dad, he brought me to the door.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, no,
but
no, no. No, no.
I still was surprised that because if that was my mom would be like, this area is very unsavory. No, you're not.
No way.
Goodbye.
Yeah, she can
But
come
my
to our house if she wants to, but
yeah,
you
she
cannot
can
go
come to
there.
our house. That's what my mom would have said. But my dad was like, okay. And I instantly had regret as soon as I stepped inside the house.
But again, at least you knew. I had no idea. And
Yeah.
this child is
Yeah,
in
we
my
knew.
house, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking, I have a swimming pool in the back. Now my children know how to swim. I don't know if this child knows. Now I have to be pending of this girl not to go in the water without me knowing. I
Mhm.
have to be careful with her. What she does she have any allergies? I don't know. Who's the mother? What who can I contact if something happens to
Mhm.
this
What is
child?
her last name? Did you know
What
that?
did they even know that we had sons or just daughters or we had more grown-ups?
What is
Nothing.
going on?
She got dropped off and they took off. And this wasn't her first
Wow.
rodeo. At 7 years old, that child had been in more homes. You could tell that she was a pro, that nothing affected her. And
Oh,
she's 7 years old at this point. But you could tell that she was okay. My daughter at 16, she was calling every hour, every half an hour. And this little girl at 7, she came in like nothing, put her stuff down, and I
yeah, because
couldn't
she
say
was
no.
used to it.
Yep. Her grandmother was raising her because her mom was no good.
Oh, poor
But it was
child.
sad. And when I met the grandmother, I told her, I gave her a big speech. And I said, listen, lady, she's a child. You're the grown up. What is so wrong with you? You can't just leave a little girl anywhere you want because you
Oh
don't
my
know what people are
God.
capable of. I said, what's wrong? She's like, well, she said it was a sleepover. I said, yeah, but you didn't even call me. You should have made sure that you talked to me first. I will
And
never.
what I worry about as a woman, are there men in the house?
That's what I said to her. You don't know if we have only boys and just the one girl. You don't know if they're teenagers or they're grown men in the
Wow, wow,
house. You don't know
wow.
anything. I
Mm-mm.
told her, oh, she never came back to our house ever, unfortunately, and I feel bad for it. But I could not be responsible for someone so irresponsible as that lady.
No, that's not your. That's not your.
I felt bad for her because who knows what this poor little girl was used to.
What she had to endure. So, oh,
I saw a few things that I didn't like,
hmm,
and I figured that something had already happened because
oh,
you know what I mean. Like you can tell those things,
yeah,
and
you can read it between the
I
lines.
taught her a few things. I said, you don't do that. You don't do that, and you have to take care of yourself, and you're a girl and you have to protect yourself and stuff like that. But she was with us for the entire weekend, so we had
Mm,
to move our trip to leave on Monday instead of
wow,
Friday. Yep, we're gonna leave Saturday morning at 4 a.m. So well, we couldn't because she got there on Friday,
wow,
and I
that's
couldn't contact her grandmother for 24 hours.
that's crazy.
It
That's
is.
crazy. That's crazy. That's those are the times where like that child could have been reported to the police.
And again, this is where being a parent, parenting your children, it goes on from generation to generation to
It does.
generation.
It does. It
It's
does.
important for us to do things like this to parent them because they will pass it on to the next generation. If you don't do your job well, then you cannot expect much in return.
You can't. So I feel like this was
A
I
very
feel
long
like this
one.
is a good place for us to stop and pick up back next week. I don't know what the topic will be.
We'll
I'm not
find
really
out.
sure. We'll discuss it. But thank you guys, everybody who tuned in. I know this was a longer episode, but we missed Miss Nexie. My
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
we missed
you did.
we
This the
missed you.
host over here with the
Yeah.
blank screen.
Yeah, with the blank screen. One day,
Yes,
maybe
ma'am.
it may not be blank. Maybe. I'm not making no promises. Well, you guys get used to the blank screen because that's what we do over here.
Miss Marlene, it's been a pleasure
A
as
pleasure.
always.
Thank you, Miss Nexie. Shout out
And
to all my amazing mods for supporting the channel. Thank you, Miss Nexie, for the channel members and the super sticker, and everybody for all the likes. I really appreciate everyone. You guys let me know. I'm going to put a poll on the community tab. Let me know what you want us to discuss on
oh,
next
that's good.
week. Yeah, let's do a
Yeah.
poll.
Let's do a poll, see what they
Yeah,
say. If they
let's
want
see.
to hear our childhood nightmare, I mean, dreams.
Yeah, that whatever. What do you guys want us to talk about? Let's know. Let us know.
Yeah,
Let us
let
know.
us know. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody, for coming. Thank you
Thank
for
you
having me, Miss
guys.
Marlene.
Thank you, Miss Nexie. Wonderful co-host. Thanks for tuning into the Sip and Chat. And anybody watching on the replay, leave me a comment in the comment section below. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.